Hey, it's Dan Morales, and this is Homebuyer Radio. This is episode number 110. Hard to believe we've done 110 episodes of this, but we have. We're back on Instagram TV for episode 110. I think I'm going to try to do these and leave them on Instagram TV, kind of going forward. You can always find the audio podcast on iHeartRadio. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. It's on Spotify. TuneIn. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on my Facebook page. I mean, we're pretty much everywhere that we can be, or at least that we know we can be. So you can always find the audio piece pretty easy. The video piece, the only thing that's probably different is you get to see my ugly face. But that is, I'm going to do that on Instagram TV. I've been experimenting with that, so we'll see if we can get some mileage out of that as well, too. But this week, what I want to talk about in episode number 110 is I want to talk about, the myth of, you have to have a 20% down payment to buy a house. We've talked about this before, and I still get clients who are concerned about, oh gosh, I don't have enough money to make a 20% down payment. If you're somebody who's thinking about buying a house and you think you have to have a 20% down payment, you don't, okay? In most cases, you don't. I'd say substantially most buyers who are going to buy a house, you don't have to have a 20% down payment. There are a number of options that are available where there are down payments from 0 to 3.5%. So those options, of course, in the case of 0, you don't have to have a down payment, and that barrier to entry is really, really low, right? You don't have to have any money for a down payment. Now, keep in mind, a down payment is part of what goes into buying a house. You have a down payment, but you also have closing costs, closing costs and escrows as part of a transaction as well, too. Those can increase the amount of cash you'd have to have as well. So if you had, let's say, a 3% down payment, and let's just for really, really simple math, let's just say you bought a house for $100,000, the 3% down payment would be $3,000. Depending on the state you're located and closing costs for your area, you may have to have another $3,000 to $5,000 for closing costs and escrows, if you will. So if you take your 3% down plus that $3,000 to $5,000 in closing cost, pardon me, my voice is froggy today. You're going to have $6,000 to $8,000 when it's all said and done. So you have to have down payment plus closing costs. So you want to look at that total picture when it's all said and done. But that's where knowing all of the options that are available to you can make a difference, because if there's an option where you can do, let's say, a 0 down payment option, then you don't have to have a down payment and you just need to have, let's say, $3,000 to $5,000 for closing costs. That's much easier of a hurdle to clear than having to have, let's say, $6,000 to $8,000 when it's all said and done. So there are a number of programs out there that don't require a down payment. What those programs look like can vary depending on your overall credit score and the overall risk that you pose. But there are a number of really good, viable options that are out there that don't require a huge down payment when it's all said and done. So, this week's episode, I really just want to talk about the myth that you have to have a 20% down payment because, in all reality, you don't have to have a 20% down payment for most clients. Now, if you're buying an investment property, that's a different story, okay? But something that's going to be owner-occupied, that you're going to live in, that 20% down payment that, people, believe they have to have, you don't have to have that, okay? Now, keep in mind, if you have a down payment of less than 20%, you're normally going to deal with some form of private mortgage insurance. There are some really, really, really good ways that you can structure private mortgage insurance where it really doesn't have a huge impact in your overall monthly payment. If you're working with a lender that doesn't know what those things are, then you should probably switch, right? And that's the whole reason we do this podcast. We do this podcast because, our goal is to generate clients, and we continue to grow our client base throughout the country. So thank you. Those of you who have reached out and who have done transactions with us, we just appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with you. To me, it's just kind of phenomenal. We really haven't done anything to promote this podcast, short of just put it out there on Facebook and YouTube for the most part. Now we're going to do the Instagram TV deal, so that's going to be something that's a little bit new to us. And trying to push it out there on any area where we can. But we have a lot of clients all throughout the country, which is really cool. It just kind of neat to see how this thing has really grown as we've gotten started. So if you are in the market to buy a house, we'd love to help you out. We lend in the majority of the 50 states. Not every product is available in every state, but we have a lot of products available in a lot of the states, and love to have the opportunity to work with you. So my name is Dan Morales. You can find me online at danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. My NMLS number is 709729. Phone number is 616-931-4629. Again, 616-931-4629. And, of course, website is danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you leave a review, comment, feedback. If you have questions, concerns, reach out to us. Love to answer your questions as part of the podcast. Hopefully my voice won't be as froggy when we do the next one. But if there's anything that we can do to help you out as part of the mortgage process, make sure you share the podcast, write a review on iTunes, and just help us get the word out, so we can educate clients on really, what is, the proper answer for many questions people have in regards to mortgage. I see a lot of information out there. It's just not accurate. So do me a favor, pass it on, and help others to be able to connect with us. So again, my name is Dan Morales, and of course, North Point Bank is an equal housing lender.